Rue McClanahan's journey to stardom and cultural immortality began in a way many actors only dream about. On a seemingly ordinary day, she opened a plain envelope from NBC that would change her life forever. Inside was a script titled The Golden Girls, a story about four older women living under one roof, navigating life's joys, challenges, and the unexpected twists of fate. Rue, like many seasoned actors, was cautious at first. She had been in the entertainment industry long enough to know that a new project could either be a stepping stone or a dead end. Yet, something about the script captivated her. Its humor was clever yet gentle. Its heart was visible on every page. As she read, she whispered to herself, "This is going to be a hit," not fully realizing the magnitude of what she had just discovered. At that point, Rue's career was at a crossroads. She had already earned respect in television circles, having appeared in shows like Maude, but opportunities for women over 40 were limited. Hollywood often ignored actresses like her, as if age rendered them invisible. This new show, however, dared to challenge that norm. It presented older women not as secondary characters or comedic foils, but as strong, witty, and complex individuals. Rue saw in the script more than a role. She saw a chance to change the narrative for women in television. What made the story unique was not only the age of the characters, but the honesty of their experiences. The script addressed issues rarely explored in sitcoms: aging, loneliness, love, and friendship among women in their later years. The characters were relatable, flawed, and human, and Rue could sense that audiences would see themselves in these women. Despite her initial hesitation, curiosity overcame skepticism. She poured a cup of coffee, sat at her kitchen table, and began reading with increasing intensity. The pages came alive before her eyes. She could imagine the laughs, the moments of tenderness, and the drama that would unfold on screen. By the time she finished, she knew this was a role she could not pass up. This was the beginning of a journey that would redefine her career and leave an indelible mark on television history. Beyond the excitement of discovery, Rue understood the challenges ahead. She would be stepping into a role that required both comedic timing and emotional depth, playing a character named Blanche Devereaux, a woman vibrant, flirtatious, and unafraid of life. It was a bold departure from her previous work and demanded a transformation of voice, mannerisms, and energy. The audition process, while nerve-wracking, became a defining moment. Director Jay Sandrich, recognizing her potential, encouraged Rue to explore Blanche in a way that felt natural to her. Instinct and creativity took over, and the transformation was immediate. When she finished reading her lines as Blanche, silence filled the room, followed by approval. That audition cemented her as the perfect choice, setting in motion a series of events that would catapult her into stardom. The Golden Girls was not merely a television show. It was a cultural statement. For Rue, it offered validation, recognition, and the opportunity to be part of something revolutionary. She would go on to portray Blanche with such charm, humor, and nuance that audiences could not separate the character from the warmth and charisma Rue brought to life. Yet, behind the laughter and applause, challenges awaited: personal struggles, professional conflicts, and inevitable toll of fame. But Rue's dedication, talent, and insight into human emotion would guide her through, allowing her to leave a legacy that remains powerful to this day. This was more than a career opportunity. It was a moment in history, one that reshaped television and proved that stories about women, even in later life, could captivate hearts, minds, and imaginations across the country. The journey from reading a script to becoming an iconic television character is rarely straightforward. And for Rue McClanahan, the process of bringing Blanche Devereaux to life was no exception. Initially, Rue was slated to audition for Rose Nyland, the sweet, naive Midwestern woman. While she respected the character, she felt the role did not align with her strengths or personality. Still, she trusted the creative process and showed up for the audition with professionalism and curiosity. What happened next would change everything. Director Jay Sandrich asked her to try something completely unexpected, to explore the role of Blanche Devereaux. Rue had not prepared for this, had not rehearsed a single line in Blanche's voice, but she trusted her instincts. She let her body, her energy, and her natural intuition take over. The result was transformative. Her posture, gestures, and tone shifted subtly yet dramatically, capturing the essence of a woman who was confident, witty, and unabashedly vibrant. When she finished, The room fell silent. The director's simple declaration, "That's her. That's Blanche," confirmed that Rue had found her character. This moment was both exhilarating and terrifying. She realized that she had stepped into a role that demanded every ounce of her talent and personality. Blanche was flamboyant, sensual, and full of life, a character that contrasted sharply with Rue's own private, reserved nature. Yet, Rue recognized that the key to embodying Blanche successfully lay in understanding the character deeply while infusing her own creativity into her performance. One of her most notable contributions was the development of Blanche's distinct Southern accent. The original script suggested a traditional Southern tone, but Rue felt it lacked personality and musicality. Drawing inspiration from a relative with a unique blend of charm and elegance, she experimented until Blanche's voice became a signature element of her identity. At first, this change met resistance from directors, who insisted she stick to a natural accent for the pilot. Rue, however, persisted. Once the show was renewed, she successfully convinced the new director to allow her accent, giving Blanche a voice that was memorable, expressive, and full of charisma. This attention to detail exemplified Rue's commitment to her craft. She understood that acting was not merely about delivering lines. It was about creating a fully realized human being on screen, one whose voice, gestures, and personality were coherent and engaging. The chemistry between the four lead actresses, Rue McClanahan, Bea Arthur, Betty White, and Estelle Getty, was another critical factor in the show's success, though it was not without complications. While audiences perceived camaraderie and deep friendship, the reality behind the scenes was more nuanced. Differences in personality, communication style, and experience occasionally led to tension. Bea Arthur, known for her perfectionism and privacy, sometimes clashed with other cast members, while Betty White's warmth and social ease could inadvertently cause friction. Rue, having experience working with Bea Arthur on previous projects, often acted as a mediator, smoothing conflicts and fostering a collaborative atmosphere. Her ability to navigate these relationships, maintain professionalism, and contribute creatively to the show was essential to the long-term success of the Golden Girls. These early experiences, auditions, character development, and behind-the-scenes dynamics set the foundation for what would become a landmark television series. Blanche Devereaux emerged not merely as a character, but as an embodiment of confidence, femininity, and resilience, shaped by Rue's vision and dedication. The effort Rue invested in creating a distinct voice, personality, and presence for Blanche highlighted her understanding that great acting required more than talent. It required insight, creativity, and courage to challenge norms. By the time the show premiered in September 1985, Blanche had become more than a role. She was a cultural statement, a symbol of empowerment, and a testament to Rue McClanahan's artistry. The character's charm, humor, and depth captivated audiences immediately, proving that older women could be central figures on television, complex, funny, and relatable. Rue's transformation during auditions was a crucial turning point, marking the moment when her instincts, talent, and creativity coalesced into the character that millions would come to love. It was a triumph of preparation meeting opportunity, of insight meeting courage, and it would define the trajectory of her career for the years to come. Beyond the applause and ratings, this period revealed Rue's dedication to artistic authenticity, her willingness to take risks, and her understanding that the work of an actor extends far beyond memorizing lines. It is about breathing life into a character in a way that resonates deeply with audiences. When The Golden Girls premiered on September 14, 1985, it quickly became clear that the show was something extraordinary. Audiences across the United States were captivated by the lives of four women navigating their later years with wit, charm, and honesty. Rue McClanahan's Blanche Devereaux, with her flamboyant personality, sharp humor, and distinctive Southern accent, immediately stood out as a character both memorable and relatable. Alongside Bea Arthur's pragmatic Dorothy Zbornak, Betty White's sweet and clever Rose Nyland, and Estelle Getty's spirited Sophia Petrillo, Blanche's interactions brought energy, warmth, and comedy that resonated deeply with viewers. The show's success was not accidental. It was a careful blend of talented performers, smart writing, and a willingness to tackle subjects rarely explored in sitcoms at the time. Issues like aging, love in later life, friendship, loneliness, and societal expectations for older women were addressed with a rare balance of humor and sincerity. Critics praised the show for presenting older women as complex individuals rather than caricatures, and viewers responded with enthusiasm, turning the Golden Girls into a cultural phenomenon almost overnight. Ratings soared, and the series became a favorite in households nationwide. Yet behind the scenes, the dynamics among the cast were more nuanced than the warmth audiences saw on screen. While the actresses projected camaraderie, professionalism, and humor, their relationships were sometimes complicated by personality differences and competing vision for the show. B. Arthur, known for her disciplined, private nature, occasionally clashed with others who were more extroverted or spontaneous. Betty White, whose charm and sociability were widely admired, could unintentionally create tension by drawing attention during interviews or press appearances. Rue McClanahan, with her understanding of both personalities, often acted as the bridge between conflicting temperaments, diffusing tensions and helping maintain a collaborative environment. This behind-the-scenes work, though largely invisible to audiences, was critical in ensuring the show's continued success. Beyond interpersonal dynamics, the Golden Girls broke new ground in television storytelling. By presenting older women as main characters with fully realized personalities, the show challenged stereotypes and provided representation rarely seen on screen. Viewers saw women who were confident, romantic, humorous, and capable of facing life's challenges with resilience. Blanche, in particular, embodied a spirit of independence, sensuality, and self-assurance, offering a model for women of all ages to embrace their own identities. The series' popularity also highlighted the importance of timing and cultural resonance. At a moment when television largely marginalized older women, the Golden Girls celebrated their wisdom, experience, and humor. Audiences connected not only with the stories, but also with the chemistry among the cast, whose performances felt authentic and heartfelt. Public recognition of the show's impact came quickly. Critics lauded the sharp writing, memorable characters, and fearless approach to socially relevant topics. Awards and nominations followed, further solidifying the series as a groundbreaking achievement in American television. Despite this acclaim, the pressures of fame and production demands were never far from the cast's daily reality. Long hours, intense filming schedules, and the constant scrutiny of viewers and media required discipline and resilience. Rue, while thriving in her role, also navigated the complexities of sudden fame, balancing public expectations with her personal life and private challenges. The show's ability to balance comedy with emotional depth, social commentary with entertainment, was a testament to collective talent of the cast, writers, and producers. The Golden Girls did more than entertain. It influenced perceptions, opened conversations about aging, and inspired viewers to embrace life with humor, courage, and dignity. Rue McClanahan's Blanche Devereaux became not just a character, but a symbol of empowerment, demonstrating that older women could be central, engaging, and relatable figures on television. Through laughter, heartfelt moments, and relatable storytelling, the series left a lasting impression that extended far beyond its initial broadcast, influencing generations of viewers and reshaping expectations for women in entertainment. By the end of the first season, it was clear that the show was more than a fleeting success. It had established itself as a landmark in television history, a platform where actresses like Rue could shine while also challenging societal norms. While the Golden Girls charmed audiences and earned critical acclaim, life behind the cameras was not always as harmonious as viewers might have imagined. The cast, though united in professionalism, had distinct personalities and working styles that sometimes led to tension. B. Arthur, who portrayed the sharp-witted Dorothy, was a perfectionist and deeply private. She approached her work with meticulous attention to detail, often preferring quiet reflection to casual camaraderie. Betty White, by contrast, exuded warmth, sociability, and charm, thriving in the spotlight and easily engaging with cast, crew, and the press. These differences occasionally sparked misunderstandings or quiet friction. Rue McClanahan, who played the vivacious Blanche Devereaux, frequently found herself navigating these delicate dynamics. Having previously worked with B. Arthur on Maude, Rue understood how to anticipate her moods and temperamental swings. She became the peacemaker on set, often staying late after tapings to smooth over conflicts or gently mediate disagreements. This emotional labor, though largely unseen by the audience, was critical in maintaining a cohesive working environment and ensuring the quality of performances remained high. Beyond interpersonal challenges, Rue also faced creative frustrations. Despite her deep understanding of Blanche and her contributions to shaping the character, Rue often encountered resistance from producers and directors who prioritized commercial considerations over artistic depth. She passionately believed that The Golden Girls was more than comedy. It was social truth expressed through humor. When the opportunity arose to spin off a new series, The Golden Palace, Rue proposed creative ideas aimed at balancing the absence of B. Arthur's Dorothy and preserving the essence of the ensemble. Her suggestions, however, were dismissed, with executives focused primarily on syndication and profit rather than character development or storytelling depth. Rue recounted these experiences in her memoir, reflecting on the emotional strain of fighting for artistic integrity in an environment driven by ratings and revenue. Even with such obstacles, Rue poured her heart into Blanche, fully inhabiting the character's flamboyant charm, playful sensuality, and wit. Yet, the line between Blanche and Rue's real life was not always clear to the public. Tabloids often portrayed her as the same flirtatious, outgoing woman she played on screen, despite Rue's personal preference for privacy and quiet. Her personal life, including 6 marriages, became fodder for gossip, further complicating her efforts to maintain boundaries between professional persona and private identity. These pressures weighed heavily on Rue over the years. Balancing fame, creative ambitions, and personal well-being require resilience, patience, and self-awareness. Her ability to navigate these challenges while delivering consistently memorable performances speaks to both her talent and character. Moreover, Rue's creative contributions extended beyond performance to the development of Blanche's iconic Southern accent, inspired by relative and refined through experimentation. This attention to detail ensured that Blanche was not a stereotype, but a fully realized, multidimensional character. Rue's advocacy for her artistic vision, combined with her diplomatic skills and empathy, helped the show sustain its success despite occasional internal conflicts. The 7th season brought heightened pressures as cast and crew faced fatigue, evolving dynamics, and the departure of B. Arthur in 1992. BEA's exit marked a turning point, both emotionally and professionally, for Rue and the ensemble. While she respected BEA's decision to leave and understood her reasons, Rue admitted that it was heartbreaking. She had witnessed firsthand the challenges of sustaining professional relationships over years of intense collaboration, and BEA's departure underscored the fragility of these bonds. Through all of this, Rue McClanahan remained committed to her craft. She maintained Blanche's vitality, humor, and depth, ensuring that audiences continue to connect with the character even as behind-the-scenes tensions and personal struggles persisted. Her dedication exemplified the complexity of being a leading actress, the need to balance public performance, private life, and artistic ambition while managing interpersonal relationships in a high-pressure environment. Ultimately, Rue's ability to navigate conflicts and maintain professionalism contributed not only to the success of the Golden Girls, but also to her enduring legacy as an actress who combined talent, creativity, and emotional intelligence to create a character that continues to resonate with audiences decades later. Her experiences behind the scenes reveal the unseen effort, compromise, and emotional labor required to bring beloved television characters to life, reminding us that success on screen often comes with unseen challenges off camera. While Rue McClanahan dazzled audiences as Blanche Devereaux, her personal life and health challenges often told a different story, one of resilience, struggle, and quiet perseverance. Despite the vibrant, flirtatious persona she portrayed on screen, Rue's private life was more reserved, contemplative, and sometimes fraught with difficulty. Her 6 marriages, while part of public interest and occasional media speculation, reflected her search for companionship and understanding in a life constantly shaped by professional demands. The challenges of balancing fame, work, and personal relationships were significant. Her 5th marriage to Tom Keel, for example, ended in legal disputes over earnings from the Golden Girls, resulting in a court ruling that forced Rue to share part of her success. She later described the experience as humiliating, revealing the vulnerability that often accompanied her public triumphs. Beyond relational challenges, Rue faced a series of health issues that increasingly affected her later years. Years of physical strain from performing, long filming schedules, and high-pressure stage roles began to manifest in chronic pain. In 2005, while performing in Wicked on Broadway, she faced grueling stage conditions, including performing on steeply angled platforms that exacerbated her knee problems. Though she initially tried to endure the pain quietly, the strain became unbearable, leading to knee surgery in 2008. While intended to relieve her condition, the surgery marked the beginning of a complicated recovery, as blood clots, a dangerous side effect of prolonged immobility, developed. Rue was prescribed anticoagulants like warfarin to prevent clots, yet these medications came with serious risks, particularly when combined with other long-term prescriptions such as lorazepam, which she had taken for decades to manage anxiety. Her anxiety, rooted in childhood experiences during World War II when her father served overseas, had long shaped her emotional landscape. She referred to this time as the hour of the crash, a period marked by fear, loneliness, and the onset of panic attacks. In adulthood, these anxiety episodes returned with greater intensity, often manifesting as trembling, heart palpitations, and deep emotional strain. Despite these challenges, Rue maintained her trademark sense of humor and public composure. She continued performing, joking about her later tours as sit-down comedy, noting that she no longer needed to stand for anything except applause. Yet behind this humor lay genuine physical and emotional pain. Friends and colleagues noticed her slowing pace, careful movements, and frequent reliance on support when backstage or navigating daily tasks. Even as her public persona radiated vitality and charm, Rue endured these hardships quietly, demonstrating immense resilience and professionalism. The contrast between Blanche Devereaux's vivacious energy and Rue's private health struggles highlights the complex balance required performers, particularly women in an industry that often prioritizes youth appearance and public image over well-being. While Blanche remained confident, flirty, and seemingly unstoppable, Rue's private reality demanded strength, adaptability, and courage. Through it all, she never lost her dedication to her craft or her desire to give her characters life and depth. These experiences, legal battles, health crises, and the pressures of fame, shaped Rue's perspective on the entertainment industry, personal relationships, and the passage of time. They reinforce her understanding that legacy and personal fulfillment often require sacrifice, endurance, and a willingness to confront both external challenges and internal struggles. By navigating these adversities with grace, Rue McClanahan not only continued to entertain audiences, but also became an emblem of resilience and professionalism, showing that even in the face of profound difficulties, it was possible to maintain one's artistry, humor, and humanity. Her later years, though marked by health complications, legal entanglements, and inevitable strains of aging, were also filled with reflection, honesty, and a commitment to authenticity, qualities that would ultimately define her legacy both on and off screen. In the context of her career, these personal challenges underscore the unseen demands placed on actors, particularly women in television, and illuminate the strength it takes to sustain excellence under such pressures. Rue's story reminds audiences that behind every celebrated performance lies a human being navigating triumphs, setbacks, and the complex realities of life. In the final years of her life, Rue McClanahan approached her career and legacy with the clarity and honesty that had defined her work. In early 2010, she granted one of her last long-form interviews to the Television Academy, speaking candidly for nearly 3 hours about fame, friendships, and the moments she cherished and regretted throughout her career. Rue reflected not only on her time portraying Blanche Devereaux, but also on the broader experiences of working on The Golden Girls, the professional challenges she faced, and the personal insights she had gained along the way. During this interview, Rue shared the story of persuading B. Arthur to join the series, describing how she convinced her friend that the show would be groundbreaking and that the characters, especially Dorothy, would resonate with audiences in unprecedented ways. Rue emphasized that her involvement went beyond acting. She had helped shape the dynamic of the ensemble, ensuring that each character's voice was distinct and authentic. She also addressed the complicated relationship between B. Arthur and Betty White, acknowledging that while their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, off-screen warmth was more nuanced. Rue described their interactions as professional, affectionate at times but distant at others, emphasizing that the show's continued success relied on this professionalism rather than personal closeness. The interview also allowed Rue to voice her reflections on the creative struggles she experienced, particularly regarding the spin-off series The Golden Palace. She admitted her frustration when her suggestions for character development and story arcs were dismissed by producers prioritizing syndication and profit. Rue's candid acknowledgement of these challenges revealed her unwavering commitment to storytelling and her deep respect for her craft. She saw the Golden Girls not merely as entertainment, but as a platform for truth and authenticity, blending humor with social commentary. Her disappointment when creative input was overlooked did not diminish her dedication. Rather, it underscored her understanding that preserving artistic integrity sometimes requires persistence and courage. Beyond professional concerns, Rue spoke openly about the personal struggles that shaped her life and career. She discussed the impact of health challenges, including years of anxiety, medication management, and the complications that arose later in life from physical ailments. Rue's reflections illuminated the balance she maintained between her public persona as Blanche, confident, witty, and vibrant, and her private life, which required resilience and self-care. Even in the face of declining health, she remained committed to performing, sharing joy with audiences, and contributing to projects that mattered deeply to her. These final interviews also highlighted Rue's perspective on legacy. She expressed pride in the cultural impact of Blanche Devereaux and the broader ensemble, recognizing that the Golden Girls had redefined perceptions of women in television, particularly older women who were often marginalized or stereotyped. Rue understood that her work extended beyond ratings or accolades. It represented representation, empowerment, and authenticity. She hoped that future generations would continue to appreciate the humor, intelligence, and humanity embedded in the show, as well as the dedication of the women who brought it to life. In these candid conversations, Rue demonstrated the clarity, honesty, and reflective wisdom that marked her later years. She spoke of joy, regret, triumph, and loss with equal sincerity, providing audiences and colleagues with an intimate glimpse into the mind and heart of an artist who had given so much to her craft.